All right. This project, my name is Gbeah Massaquoi, and we are doing a state diagram project for our digital system class at the University of North Carolina in Charlotte. And this state mission has four.
Yes, and Emmanuel Musewu.
This state mission has four states: State A, State B, State C, and State D. Two inputs are considered to be important during each state, whether high or low. That's for the introductory part. I am going to demonstrate the operation of the state diagram to you, from the spotting board to the combinations on the monitor. All right, this first part, State A, has three inputs as indicated in the introduction, and the two important combinations are S and T. So over here, this is S, the S input, the R input. The next one is the S input, and the next one is, and the last one is the T input. And here are the outputs. We have Q0, which represents the first D flip-flop, and Q1 represents the second D flip-flop, and Q2 represents the third D flip-flop, and Q3 represents the fourth D flip-flops. And these are all the outputs that are going to be used.
And the reset.
And here on the far left is the reset button. And the first state, which is State A,
State A,
was obtained when S is high, S was high, or in this instance we can say S is high, and T is high. And for R, the R value is not important, but here is low. Therefore, we got the first state, which is State A. So over here on this monitor, you can see R being 0, S being 1, and T being 1.
yeah. Okay, next.
The next state is to State B, and this state have two important inputs. The input when
S.
the input S doesn't change, but when R is 0, yeah, the input S stays high, but when R is 0 and T is 0, the machine transitions to state B. And over here on the spotting board, I'm going to show you the combinations. We have R being 0, which is low, S being high, and T being low. That gives us state B, which is Q1, the second D flip-flop.
Okay. Next.
The next transition from state B to state C occurs when R is high,
R.
and RT. RT.
Pause it. No. Say my R.
Okay. The machine. Did you pause it? The machine transitions from state B to state C when R is high. And over here on the monitor, we see R being high, and S.
Don't care.
S and T are don't cares, but in this instance, we used a high for S and a 0, which is a low for T. And on the spotting board, we have R being high, S being high, and T being 0. And so the machine doesn't just stay at C, but it flickers amongst Q0, Q1, and Q2. So we have A, B, and C being represented here because of this combination.
Okay, now see R0 and 0. Okay.
The machine goes back to state B when both R and T are 0, and S is don't care, but in this instance we used a half for S. And on the Spartan board we have R being 0 here, S being high, and T being 0. Therefore we are back to state B, which is Q1, and it represents the second D flip-flop.
Oh, who's that wrong? R1, T1, so don't you mention.
This state can also be obtained when R is 1, S is 1, and T is 1. We can.
It's a more R and T only.
We can get state B, but the two important imports here are R and T. S is don't care, but we used one still for S. And on the Spartan board we have a high for R, a high for S, and a high for T. And as you can see, it flickers between state B and state C. So we have Q1 and Q2 lighting up one after another.
Now from C to A, R1 T0. Okay.
From state C to the initial state A, the first state A, we have
R1.
we have R being 1, S being 1, and T being 0. But the two important inputs here are the R input and the T input, and this S is a don't care. And over here we have R being high, S being high, and T being 0. Therefore we have with the LED, the opposite flickering between C and A. From C to A, from C to A.
B, C, A.
And B is also being represented if you look at it closely.
Now back to C.
S is 0.
Ici l'important c'est C.
Okay, back to C. From A to C we have R being 1, S being 0, and T being 0.
S.
And here the most important input is S. When S is 0, we go back from A to C. And over here we have R being 1, S being 0, and T being 0, and we got the LED flicker in between A and C, A and C, A and C.
Okay. Yeah, now from C to D.
Okay.
Okay. R0. Ok.
Plus important encore.
RT.
And from pourquoi tu as mis D?
Ok, c'est bon.
All right, to go from C to D, we have the two important inputs are R and T. So R has to be low and T has to be high, but S is a don't care, don't pay, because the input is not important. And the machine transitions to D when during these combinations, but once it gets to D, it goes back to A. To the default state, which is state A. And over here we have R being 0, S being 0, and T being 1. Ça n'a pas marché, mon cher. Pause that.
Attends, il faut. C'est qu'on avait eu encore l'autre fois. Attends.
Oui,
On doit avoir. Attends, contour d'abord si. Ok, c'est ça. CD1, ok.
Comme tu avais parlé là, je vais pointer à ça.
Attends.
Tu as pas ça?
Non.
Qu'est-ce que tu as fait?
Non, ok.
You be running it? Prends une photo aussi.
Je crois que c'est passé là. CDA. 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 Ok.
Qu'est-ce que tu as fait?
Excellent. Pour le sample.